Boom, there we have it. I believe we are now live. Hello everyone and welcome to round 2 of the GT7 League here at Gavra Racing, and you are getting a beautiful view of all the mechanics in the pit lane here at the circuit, the Barcelona, Catalunya, for round number 2 at Spain. I believe everyone is pretty much in the pits, and yes, Bonnie, we can see your car. Yes, we can. We got 11 drivers lining up on the grid for today's race, and it looks like a variety of different strategies going into this one as well. You can Ted aiming to start this race on the hard compound tyres. We've got a few started on mediums, and I think we might have 1 or 2 starting on the soft compound tyres as well. So it should make for an interesting race with all 3 different tyre compounds being used at the start. You join us for our 20-minute qualifying session that we usually have at the start of the before the race. As you can see in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, we are 3 minutes in already. We've only got 17 left to go at this track. If you missed last week's race, then I would highly recommend you tune in to go watch that one. You can head over to our YouTube channel, Gavra Racing, if you're not a Twitch subscriber, whatever, do that nonsense. Head over to watch that race back. Yeah, what a race it was, and I will be saying the winner of that race throughout this stream. So spoiler alert now, for if you haven't watched it and you want to know the result of that race, then I would recommend you go watch it now. Finn has put in the provisional pole time currently with a 1 minute 40.8. He goes 2.5 tenths quicker than his teammate, both on the medium compound of tyres, but I think we might see a few quicker times. That's not an insult to those two. That's a hint that some drivers have gone onto the soft compound tyre. Pretty much everyone behind them on track going through the final sector now. And it's Cameron Kaboom who's leading the train down the start-finish straight as TCR Legion now puts in a new provisional pole time of 40.7, but on the soft compound of tyres. Just spoiler alert, your race winner from last week's race, Toussaint, picked up the first win of the season. After pretty much dominating the second half of the race, absolutely nailed the strategy, and well, running in 6th place currently on the circuit, but hasn't done a qualifying lap just of yet, but has boxed for a fresh set of soft compound tyres, and is 6 tenths purple through the first sector. He's got his teammate Tiger Assassin behind him on the circuit and on the leaderboard as things stand, but we haven't had any representative lap times to judge the leaderboard positions in the first 5 minutes of the qualifying session. Hello, welcome to all the viewers tuning in for today's race. Hope you guys are having a fantastic morning, evening, afternoon or night from wherever you're watching this in the world, whether it be Europe, Asia, Africa, Oceania, America, Antarctica, if there's signal. Is there signal in Antarctica? There's got to be signal in Antarctica. Anyway, let's have a look at the sector split from Toussaint as he makes his way through the middle sector. He's almost a second up on the provisional pole time set by the American. His teammate behind him appears to be setting a decent lap. I think he might be about 2 tenths behind his teammate, making his way through the hairpin at turn 10. But you'll see something different about this track to what you might usually be seeing. Yes, we have a flat out final, well, not flat out, but we've got 2 double right-handers for the final corners. We have completely removed and abolished the final chicane here at Spain, and up to the line for your championship leader goes provisional pole by 3 tenths of a second over Cameron Kaboom, and Tiger Assassin goes down into 3rd place with that lap of 39.8, 7 tenths of his teammate who has set a 39 flat. Finn just waiting on the entrance of turn 1, getting nice and out of the way for the faster drivers coming through to set their laps. Whether they'll go for it again is probably not going to happen, because the tyre wear at this track is quite high, a lot higher than what we saw at the Nürburgring. So we could see some 2 stops, maybe even a 3 stop. Depends on how aggressive they go with the strategy, and only time's going to tell to see what the ideal strategy is. We're only 2 rounds into this, so nobody really knows what the best strategy is unless they've tested every single strategy with a flawless stint and compared the lap times. No one's going to know what's going to be quicker in race conditions. I'm going to do a quick check to see if my audio is working, and then I'll be right back to you. Right, I believe everything is working a-okay, so we can get the stream back up and going. Look at that gap out in front. In the Nürburgring, I said it'd be close, and it's close here once again in Spain. Only 500ths separating the top two, and Bon Evil has found nearly those 500ths to put him on provisional pole position through the first sector on a worn set, or a worn-er set, of the soft compound tyres to when he'd done his first flying lap. He's on his second flying lap, 3 if you include the outlap. Gavra Kaboom, I think he just improved, does improve by 2/10 with a 39.3, but stays in third place for now. He's only a 10th off pole position, and who was that jumping up the order? It was Tiger Assassin. Look at the margin separating him from Bon Evil and Gavra Kaboom, only 500ths and 200ths either side. It's a British 1, 2, 3, 4 as things stand at the minute, with Piero bringing up 5th place for the in the McLaren, I should say. TCR Legion leaves the pit lane as ND makes his way down the start-finish straight after making his way up into 8th place with a 1 minute 40.6 set on the last lap on a soft compound tyre. We've got Finn currently in 9th place, hasn't actually set a representative lap time as of yet, nor has Costa, so maybe the two FGR drivers getting up in a little bit of traffic, making a few mistakes, or possibly just trying to find a clean bit of the circuit to do their fastest laps on. Let's keep an eye on the Mustang, as actually Bon Evil's gone to provisional pole position. It's a 1 minute 39 flat. It's about 500ths quicker than Toussaint, so the top 3 separated by nothing as things stand. 12 minutes left to go in the first half of the race weekend. The first half being the qualifying session, the second half being the race. Finn making his way through the uphill right-hander of turn 9. No DRS because we're in GT3s, and he's 7.5 tenths up on his personal best. The Mustang, not really too sure how good that car will be at Spain, to be perfectly honest. So we'll have to wait and see what he can do. Costa as well, both of them in the Mustang. Speaking of, Costa has actually gone provisional pole, 9 tenths clear of 500ths clear of Piero, who's now shot up into second place. Where can Finn put his Mustang? The German currently in 10th, only in 7th place, but 5.5 tenths off provisional pole position, down in 7th place. That just shows how close the field is spread. We've got the 3 Irish drivers of Wolfie, ND and Ted coming in and out of the pits respectively, but it is the Swiss who puts his Ford Mustang on provisional pole position. I should get ready to send the 10-minute left warning. 10 minutes left. Okay, it just knows. But Piero up into second place, and the McLaren does have a nice hand. It is a nice handling car, quite a balanced car out of the cars on the car selection on this grid. So expect Piero to be up there in qualifying. The problem with, though, it's good at 1 lap pace. Its race pace isn't the best in comparison to the other cars we have on tonight's grid. Look at the margins that separate the top 6, 2.5 tenths separating 6 drivers. That is absolutely incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for an absolutely amazing race at Spain, and I don't think many people have said that before, but these drivers know how to provide action, and they will provide action for you. This is why you tune in and watch every week. Costa extends his advantage out in front, goes a 10th clear, a 10.5 clear of Piero as he improves by about half a tenth. Improves to a 1 minute 38.8. The only driver in the 38.8s as things stand, but we've still got a little bit of time for drivers to whip on a fresh set of soft compound tyres and go for it once again. Toussaint and Tiger Assassin will be starting their outlaps, flying laps pretty shortly, with TCR Legion coming around the final corner to start his lap in the Porsche. Oh, and he's gone on the inside curb, and the back end snapping from him, and thankfully for him, didn't end up in the barrier, nor did he get any damage. We've got Costa on fire. Absolutely, he is on fire. If it goes any quicker, then we're going to have to call the emergency services. On provisional pole by 1.5 tenths of a second, where pole position is crucial at a track that's so hard to overtake on. We could be in for a really good race if the front runners are separated by the smallest of margins, even towards the back of the grid. We've got Ted and Andy only separated by about 5 tenths, and that might seem like a lot, but when you keep pushing in the race and you've got the slipstream, the different strategies, anything could happen. I mean, we saw in the Nürburgring when Finn and Costa were 1 and 2, but we didn't know if they were actually 1 and 2 because of the strategy. They all had to make one more pit stop, but it was the different amount of fuel and the different tyres that made it so entertaining, made it so hard for the drivers to keep focused and know what was actually going on. But we've got a few drivers now into the pits to put on a fresh set of the soft compound tyres. If you missed the intro to the Nürburgring, that you probably won't be familiar with the rules per se, but for the qualifying session regulations, you do not have to qualify on the tyre you start the race on. You could start on a hard or a medium, but qualify on the soft. The red striped tyre, the fastest of the 3 available in this game. Obviously the soft being the fastest, but doesn't last as long as the hard, which is the slowest over 1 lap pace. Toussaint, I think, is just about starting another lap. We'll keep an eye on his process. Actually, no, let's ride on board with the Mercedes inside of the cockpit of the previous race winner, making his way through the long right-hander of turn 3, slight elevation, which can cause a few drivers out, with the wind speed being 2.6 meters per second in that direction as well. Purple through the first sector just by 700ths of a second, but those are crucial hundredths, crucial tenths, as he now works his way through the middle sector. Double downshift into second, goes into first for the rotation, keeps it nice and tight to the inside before running onto the AstroTurf on the exit. Gets a little snap of oversteer on the exit. That might cost him a little bit of time, maybe a tenth or two, making his way through the left-right chicane of turn 7 and 8, up the little hill in towards the fast-flowing right-hander, taking at about 100 miles per hour, opens the steering wheel on the exit, goes over the curb beautifully to try and maximise out the time. This delta through the middle sector, he's improving by only 6 thousandths. This could be a good lap if he can nail the final sector. Could put him on the front row of the grid, goes over the first curb, down at turn 12, through the long swooping right-hander, taken in second gear. He'll work his way up the gears before lifting off slightly for the medium speed. Final chicane, which is no longer a chicane, it's now a 90-degree right-hander, the penultimate corner, before going through the final corner, opens up the steering, foot flat to the floor, up to the line, doesn't improve, he's 100th off his personal best, but needs to find 2 tenths to put it on the front row of the grid. Speaking of, Piero goes from second place to first, moves an extra position on the front row of the grid, and puts his McLaren right at the front of the field. A 38.7, the times are getting quicker. And wow, the field is spread by absolutely nothing. 5 tenths separate the top 7. And we've got 5 minutes left. I've been getting excited. Yep, let's do this. Apologies about this. If only Polyphony added qualifying, or you know, an actual in-game qualifying format, then I wouldn't have to do this, but it's only fair, it's only right if I do give them the reminders. The timer is in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. The 20-minute qualifying has been underway for the 15.5 minutes it displays in the bottom left, meaning, of course, we have 5 minutes left. Where is everyone? We've got Ted in the barrier. That's not what we were looking for at the final corner. I think he's reversing to try and get back into the pit lane. Now he's going to be kicking me for this, but we're going to watch him do it. Is it going to let him go into the pit lane? Because sometimes it kicks you back out onto the track. He's in the pits. I think it's if you go past the start-finish line, it will kick you out of the pits if you try reversing. As Bon Evil now goes on to provisional pole, it's another 38.7. It's 25 hundredths of a second between him and Piero. It's 5 hundredths to Costa. It's 2 tenths to Toussaint. It's a tenth to Tiger. 2 hundredths to Cameron. 7 hundredths to Finn. Wow. 3 tenths to Legion. 5 tenths to Wolfie. 5 tenths to Andy. This could be the closest grid that we've ever had in a while. The top 8, I think, have a chance of finishing in the top 3 positions. It's going to be about making those overtakes. It's going to be about defending, but ultimately it's going to be about doing it cleanly and consistently. Bon Evil could be in with a chance for provisional pole. No, he's already in provisional pole. It could be in for a chance of extending his pole position advantage. He's only 100 down on his personal best. The downside is, though, he's going to make his way through a technical final sector. Most of the sectors at the circuit are technical, though, and will impact the tyre wear. More tyre wear obviously leads to less car performance, and that's why he's going to be into the lane at the end of that lap. There you have it, 63 litres of fuel on his car. Don't think he'll be putting any in. A fresh set of tyres, though, to try and extend that advantage out in front. Who is going to take pole position? We've got 3 minutes left in the session. Quickly get your predictions in the chat. We've got some fans cheering on for both Finn and Costa, riding in 3rd and 7th place as things stand. One Mustang getting fired up quicker than the other, and at a track where qualifying is quite important because of the design of the circuit. It's quite hard to overtake. Only really two main overtaking opportunities where you can send one down the inside or around the outside. Plenty of opportunities to go wheel to wheel, but it's turn 1 and turn 10 are the two corners that set you up that put you in that position. Tiger Assassin now making his way through the middle sector, up the little hill through the fast 90-degree right-hander as he makes his way down the back straight. The rear wing won't open because this isn't F1, but usually the second DRS straight to the circuit, and he's not improving on his time. He's 200ths down. That's the fine margins we're talking about in this session. 200ths of a second. Finn goes up into fourth place, the second row of the grid with a 39 flat. Could be giving his teammate a little tow down as they make their way down the start-finish straight. Tiger Assassin, though, only has one corner to negotiate, and it's the final right-hander as he makes his way through the 90-degree right-hander up to the line, improved by 400ths, but not on his position. Will get 1 minute to improve on the time. On his time, you can see Piero in second place. He's on an outlap, I think 2 cents. Also, no, it's 2 cents on a flying lap. And he's purple through the first sector, ladies and gentlemen. Your race winner from the Nürburgring is purple through the first sector. What am I trying to say? Going around the final corner to start his final lap in qualifying with only about 45 seconds left to go. It's going to go down to the wire for pole position. The top 3 separated by a 10th. The top 8 separated by 8 tenths. The top 7 separated by 4. Cameron Kaboom does improve, but not on his lap time because he's got a 5/10th penalty, and that will be his qualifying over. I think Tiger might have ran wide onto the gravel. I saw a little bit of dust kick up, and it looks like he's gone a little bit deep into 7 and 8, so he may not be able to improve on his 5th place as of yet. We've got a driver coming around the final corner. It's Ted. He'll be able to start another lap in the session, but we're going to quickly have a look at the two FGR drivers. There are 10 seconds left in the qualifying session. Are they going to make it round in time before I send the message? They're going to make it through, because by the time I said it, there it is. The 20-minute timer is up. Last lap, everybody. Did they improve? Finn didn't improve. Did Costa improve? No, he didn't improve, but they will get another bite at the cherry, essentially. What about Cameron Kaboom? He's picked up a 1 second time penalty, so he won't be improving in his lap. Legion's on an outlap, so he won't improve. What about Wolfie going through the final corner for the final time in qualifying? Where can the Subaru put? I was going to say where can the Subaru put Wolfie? But Wolfie puts the Subaru in 9th place for now, unless ND or Ted can say anything about it. ND in the Nissan making his way through the final corner for the final time in qualifying. Looking at the lap time as of now, I'm not too sure it's going to be good enough to get ahead of the Irishman. Not on this occasion, unfortunately. Who else is coming around the final corner? I think that is... I don't know who that is. Oh, there we go. It was Bon Evil, who does extend his provisional pole advantage. Goes on to pole position. It's a 38.5, 2 tenths clear of Piero. What can the Frenchman say about it? We've still got the two FGR guys making their way through the final middle sector. Finn's got a penalty. We've got someone round in the middle sector ahead of these guys. It's Ted just pulling off to one side to let Costa go through. Finn will start no higher than 4th. And what about Costa through turn 13, sorry. No, that's turn 12 even, because this is turn 13 and the next one's turn 14. The final 2 corners. Doesn't cut the corner, doesn't go wide, keeps it within the track limits. 1 corner to go. Where can the Swiss put his American Mustang? Here in Spain, what a combination of nations. Doesn't improve, but it's third place on the grid. Is that everyone? Oh, that might be everyone. No, we've got TCR Legion. and someone else coming around the final corner. What can Legion do? Through turn 12. In the Porsche will be the last driver to set a time. It's a tank slapper on the exit. One corner to go for the American, but decides to pull into the pit. And it's Bon Evil with back-to-back pole positions. Let's see if he can convert it this time round. Only time will tell. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to tune in to 31 amazing laps of the Spanish Grand Prix, but first, I need a drink. And now that I'm hydrated, we can get this race started. Let's just do good luck. Let's have a clean race. There we go. Good luck. Let's have a clean race, and the race is going to start in 10 seconds time. Whilst we get loaded onto the grid then for the Spanish Grand Prix. Let's get some facts about this track. Round 2. Oh no, that doesn't work. Anyway, Spain is your host for the second round of this GT7 league. Its track consists of 14 corners, 8 to the right, 6 to the left, 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. Bon Evil leads the field away from Piero, but it's a good start for the Frenchman. A good start for Costa, who goes down the middle of them. They're 3 wide as they make their way in towards turn 1. Piero on the inside, Costa in the middle. This could be 4 wide in a minute with Finn and Tiger Assassin approaching from the middle of the circuit. Costa on the inside, Tiger now up into 2nd place, Piero down to 3rd, Bon Evil down to 6th place as he's made a contact with someone, or I saw some contact. Not sure who was involved in that one, but your pole sitter down to 6th place as Bonnie's going to try and go back down the inside of Finn through the long right-hander of turn 3. There's a red car of Legion trying to get involved on the inside as well as Tiger down the inside of Costa, hits the Swiss driver, and now Piero on the inside of him as well. They're temporarily 3 wide through the long swooping right-hander, but Tiger takes the lead of the race. Costa sends one back down the inside of Piero, maybe trying to have a look at Tiger in the process as well. Piero trying to hold it round the outside of the Mustang, but drops down into 3rd place, and Toussaint makes his way up into 4th, Bon Evil up into 5th as he gets ahead of Legion. Cameron Kaboom drops down into 7th, Wolfie promotes himself up into 8th, and we've got Finn round at the back. Didn't see what happened to Finn, must have been at turn 4 though, but that is your 4th place finisher, I think, from the Nürburgring. No, 2nd place finisher from the Nürburgring, down at the back of the field with a job to do, but he's got 31 laps to do it. Toussaint on the inside of Piero, the Brit, gets himself up into 3rd place and onto the podium. It's a much better showing from the BCMR drivers at the start of this race. They are now 1 and 3 compared to where they started in the Nürburgring. Costa splits the 2 of them in 2nd place, followed by Piero Bonnie in 4th and 5th place. And look at the top 7, so closely compact at the end of the first lap, and Wolfie just dropping off a little bit outside the slipstream range, 1.4 seconds behind the American. And he's got ND for close company, Ted not too far behind, only 7/10 behind him as well. Starting on the hard compound tyres, so Ted and Wolfie doing something different as all 11 drivers make their way down and towards turn 1 for the 2nd time this race, and it's Tiger Assassin who leads them ahead of Costa, who's putting him under a significant amount of pressure. That's what I was trying to say. Toussaint though has both Costa in front and Piero behind him to keep an eye out, as we've got Bon Evil and Cameron Kaboom going side by side up the hill in towards turn 4. The swooping right-hander as Legion actually sends one down the inside, might have made contact with Bonnie. Unfortunately we can't get a replay because this game doesn't have the replay feature in it anymore. We ride inside the cockpit view of the Genesis to see a few cars in front trying to go for a move. I think that was Piero trying to go for one on Toussaint in front in towards the downhill left-hander of turn 5. That could have been an interesting move had he been able to pull it off, but Tiger though is under a lot of pressure from Costa. 4/10 separating the top 2. Ideally he would probably like to pull away from Costa. Also gives his team a little bit of a chance to his teammate a chance to overtake Costa as well, because Costa will be getting the slipstream from Tiger Assassin. A slipstream train almost forming between the top 6. Bon Evil just dropping off the back. He's actually on the hard compounder tyre, so no wonder why he's struggling at the start of this race. He's planning on going much longer than all the drivers on the mediums. And the hard's about a second, maybe a second and a half slower than the medium compounder tyre, so Bon Evil's going to probably fall a lot, but quite far behind this train and is kind of banking on the 6 cars in front of him to use the hards at some point in the race. Costa now to the inside of Tiger as they make their way down in towards turn 1. He's late on the brakes and he's slowed it down in time. Someone who's too late on the brakes, so TCR Legion went a little bit too deep in towards turn 1. That could set up the other Porsche of Costa behind to go down the inside in towards turn 3. Legion running a little bit wide, but I'm just going to quickly pound the camera back up to the top 4 who are squabbling away for the lead of this race, now being owned by the Swiss driver FGR Costa in the American Ford Mustang, ahead of the 2 German Mercedes driven by the 2 Brits, both of whom are previous race winners from the GT Sport season and GT7 mini seasons as well. Cameron Caboon now trying to look for a move on the inside of Legion in towards turn 6 and 7, hits the back of Legion. I think that was, didn't get any damage fortunately, but I think there might have been contact between those two as they made their way through the middle sector. ND has got ahead of Wolfie, but not for too much longer because Wolfie's still on the back of him and on the hard compound tyres. Spin's making his way through the field ahead of Ted now. But we look to see up for the lead of the race. Bin goes down the inside of Tiger. I think Tiger might have gone in a little bit too deep down in towards turn 10. Costa retakes the lead of the race, and that's look at this for 4th place. Cameron on the inside of Piero. The 2 are side by side through the newly formed final sector, the 2 final corners, promoting some good overtaking as Legion now gets down the inside of Piero, who loses 2 positions in the course of a sector. Costa moves over to the right hand side of the circuit to try and break the slipstream from the train that's starting to form around him. Bonnie Evil just dropped into 1.6 seconds behind him, and to be honest, his strategy could work. Whilst these guys up front are squabbling for position, he could gain some time later on in the race. Contact between Legion and Cameron Caboon down in towards turn 1. The Porsche hitting the other Porsche down into the braking zone, and now you can see Cameron's lost about half a second, to Toussaint in front. The gap now a second between the top 3 and the 3 behind them. Bonnie Evil coming into this battle now as well, gaining a little bit on those guys as they continue to fight for position. Here goes Cameron back down the inside of Legion and up in towards 4th place. Just as a heads up for those watching, if you do hear silence for about 5 to 10 seconds, it's because I'm in need of a drink, as my throat is very dry today, and unfortunately I don't have a co-commentator to take over. Meanwhile, Tiger Assassin will be trying to take over the lead from the race. He looked for a move on the inside, backed out of it, and then said, you know what, I'm going to go for this. Backed out of it in the end. Had second thoughts in it actually. Might have actually cost him a little bit of time because his teammates almost pushing him through the right hander of turn 12. He's got Cameron Caboon and Legion closely behind them, but look at that. Piero has caught up to the back in this battle as well. The 4th to 6th place drivers were nearly out of it. Temporarily, they're about a second behind. Now they've caught right back up to the back of the front 3, but this is where the slipstream train comes into play. Looks like Costa's got himself a bit of an advantage to keep Tiger at bay for now. Is Toussaint going to have a go on his teammate? Not on this occasion. Is Piero going to have a go on Legion? Legion's going to send one on the inside of Cameron Caboon, gets the move done up into 4th place, and that is a nice send from the American. Gets his Porsche ahead of Cameron's as they make their way through turn 3. Fernando Alonso had his accident in 2015. Hamilton and Rosberg had their accident in 2016, and Cameron Caboon almost had an accident with TCR Legion. So yeah, once again, apologies for the long silence, and if my voice does go during an overtake, I can only apologise. I am trying to mute my mic if I go into a coughing fit, but I don't want to be in that situation where I forget to unmute it. Meanwhile, Tiger Assassin though might have another go at getting past the Mustang. It seems to be weak through the middle sector. He's going for it on the inside, down towards turn 10. Late on the brakes, Costa can't fight it around the outside. Legion on the inside of Toussaint forces him wide off the track. Toussaint over the sausage curb now is demoted into 4th place and is under pressure from Cameron Caboon. We try swooping his way around the outside of the Brit. Piero is trying to follow Toussaint through on the inside through the penultimate corner as Cameron Caboon gets onto the gravel trying to go around the outside of Toussaint. Piero finds the gap to get up into 5th place and ahead of the Porsche. Now through the final corner they go. Look at this cornering speed from the McLaren compared to the Mercedes. I was having a look at tyre wear and thinking maybe that had an impact on the grip levels. But they're about the same, and it's only lap 6. Pierre now to the inside of Toussaint, backs out of it in the end, pulls back over to the racing line. But we've had 6 racing laps here in Spain, and 6 racing laps at Spain, with racing at Spain. And this is why this league is so amazing. Hello, welcome to everyone tuning in. We've got plenty of numbers in for tonight's stream. What a stream to be tuning into. 31 laps of this, and the action's only just kicking off. We've still got Bon Evil not in this fight, primarily because he's in the hards. He's playing the long game. We've got different strategies in effect today. The top 6 though, all on medium compounded tyres. Some have more fuel than others. But what is Legion? Oh, he's on the soft. Okay, I was going to say someone might have sabotaged that Porsche. TCR Legion is on a set of soft compound tyres. That's how warm the soft tyres are after 6 laps. They're not a great race tyre. Someone's got a penalty. If it's Tiger with the penalty, he could lose the lead of the race when he gets to the penalty gate located on the exit of turn 9. He must have got it through turn 7 and 8, because any penalty given after turn 7 will not be served unless the penalty has already been held to their name. Cameron Caboom just starting to drop off the back of the top 5. I think he's actually made a mistake, because look who's close behind the Porsche. Bon Evil with 1.1 seconds behind, so a mistake from Cameron Caboom drops him down into 6th place. Meanwhile, the fight for the lead continues to ignite as the Mustang tries to find a move on Tiger Assassin. He's tucked him nicely into the slipstream going in towards turn 1, and that is Ted disconnecting 7 laps into this race. Unfortunately, won't be scoring any points. Toussaint about a second and a half now behind Legion. Maybe there was some mistake. No, there wasn't a mistake. There was the lunge down at turn 10 that cost him a lot of time. He got lunged from, I think it was Legion, whose tyres are well and truly dead, and I think it's only a matter of time before he's into the pits. Look at this, Costa aggressively going to the inside, thought about a move, but backs out in the end. Legion kind of being a little bit of a guinea pig. Same with Bon Evil. We've got 2 guinea pigs in the top 7 collecting data for the drivers around them on the mediums to know what tyre to go on after the medium. Some drivers might not even know what tyres they're on because of, that you don't, it's not like F1 where you can see it. But as Tiger serves his penalty, Costa takes the lead of the race. Legion's going to take the opportunity to go down the inside and towards the final corner and make his way up into 2nd place on the soft compounded tyres. And we'll get through this a little bit as Legion now makes his way up into 2nd place, capitalising on Tiger's podium. And I'll get to the comment in just a second. Oh, Legion's into the pits from the softs. Excuse me. Mama Jam asking, are the hard tyres a possibility? Not gonna lie, I thought that said mandatory when I saw it first pop on the screen. The hard tyres are certainly a possibility. Any tyre is a possibility. The only tyre regulations are that you have to use 2 different tyre compounds over the course of the race from start to finish. Otherwise, you will receive a 1-minute time penalty at the end of the race. That's not me copying the rules from the Nations and Manufacturers Series. Yeah, that is me copying the rules from the Nations and Manufacturers Series, actually. If you do not use the regulated tyres, you'll get a 1-minute time penalty. So if any driver doesn't use 2 different tyres during the race, then they will get a time penalty. Are the hards a possibility though? Any tyres a possibility, apart from maybe the softs. Its tyre wear is high at Spain, so we could see medium, medium hard, or maybe a medium hard soft, potentially. The top 5 all on the medium compound tyres. Bon Evil in 6th place on the hards, and Finn behind in 7th on the mediums, 11 seconds behind his teammate, leading the race, but did have an incident halfway through lap 1. Not too sure what happened to Finn, actually. I'll have to have a look at the race replay afterwards. But anyone watching the stream, actually, anyone tuning in, watching the stream, I should have done this in the intro when, you click onto the video. But don't worry about that. If anyone does want to do commentary, if anyone's actually interested in joining me in the commentary box, please message me on PlayStation or Discord. XNattyG, there's my name at the bottom of the screen, seeing as Ted left. That is my PSN. If you want to message me to do commentary alongside me, then you don't need any experience. You just need to know how to speak English and how to understand English. Otherwise, we could have an issue. I don't want to have to learn another language. Chicane looking for a move on the inside of his teammate in towards turn 1. Gets the move done up into second place. Was that team orders to try and get Chicane into the lead of the race ahead of Costa? We don't know. It looked like a well-planned move. Not a well-made move, sorry. It didn't exactly look planned, but if it was planned, then it was pretty synchronised. Tiger Assassin is struggling a lot with front tyres compared to his teammate behind. Chicane's also got a lot more fuel to attack Costa with, although that does mean he's going to have a slower car. Costa, though, is struggling with front tyres as well. So Chicane's in a good position here for a top 4 finish at the very least. He's got the best tyres out of the drivers in the top 4. Let's have a look at Piero. He too could be in a good position for a top 2 finish, I'd actually say. Look at this route, top 4, top 2. But that's me coughing. Firstly, to clear my throat and to apologise for any commentator cursing I do for the rest of the race. I smell a dive bomb. I think I've got a cold because there was no lunge. And apologies for breathing in heavily down the mic. I now realise that might not have been the most pleasant of noises for you guys watching, especially when there's no face cam or anything. You just hear someone dying over the mic and you're probably a bit confused anyway. I just want to say, if you are watching this, so if you're listening to this, let's say you're doing like your school homework, you're at work or something, I am fine. Meanwhile, someone who's not fine is FGR Costa, because he's got Chicane alongside him going in towards turn 1. The speed of the Mercedes overpowering that of the Mustang, and you know what, you might lose 2 positions at 2 corners because Tiger Assassin was looking interested at the inside line. I was almost tried to follow his teammate through, but just couldn't quite get the speed that he needed. Looking at the rear wing from your new race leader, the same driver who won the race in the Nürburgring last week in round 1. It's a pretty intimidating sight. Costa runs a little bit wide, leaving the door open for Tiger to send one on the inside through turn 4. Now in towards turn 5. Costa now has the inside line. He's late on the brakes. Gives Tiger room on the outside, but you can't really go around the outside of turn 5 unless you're alongside or ahead. I don't mean that in the sense of you can't do it. I just mean in the sense that it's hard to get the move done. I didn't want that to come across in the right way. I don't want to be here saying, oh, you can't go for a move round the outside at turn 5. You can do, but if you put it off, then hats off to you. Piero looking racy on the back of that Mercedes. He's going to send one on the inside. No, he thinks better of it and maintains 4th place for now. He's doing a good job conserving his tyres. Him and Chicane in a really good position. They can extend their stint and have better tyres for the end of the race. We've seen how powerful the undercut is though. Maybe they might try something different, or they could be left vulnerable to those who have burned their tyres and will be into the pits undercutting. I think Tiger and Costa would probably be the 2 drivers out of this group into the pits first. And Finn now 13 seconds behind. So he's lost 2 seconds since the last time we checked on him, compared to his teammate. Bearing in mind though, the top 4, they're kind of working together but overtaking, so they're gaining time in the slipstream, ultimately losing some when going wheel to wheel. Let's have a quick look at the guys towards the back of the field. Cameron Boom has just pitted for a set of medium compound tyres. He's 35 seconds behind the leader. Legion 28 seconds behind the leader on a set of mediums. He's been on them for this is his 4th lap. He's been on them for 3 laps. Wolfie's still out there on the hard tyres, as well as Bon Evil. They're starting to feel the effects of tyre wear on that set of compound, but not as much as Costa and Tiger. Look at that. Their front left is torn to shreds. And if there were punctures in this game, they would be close to getting one. I think we might see one or two cars in the pits at the end of this lap. We don't have long to find out. Only 2 corners now that we've removed the final chicane. I'd imagine Toussaint would stay out. Tiger might actually stay out with his teammate for the tow. They all stay out, surprisingly. I think as long as one stays out, they're all going to stay out. But look at the time that Toussaint's finding now. With the fresher tyres, Costa needs to pit ASAP. Otherwise, he's going to have something beginning with P, and it's going to be called a puncture. They're 3 wide going in towards turn 1. Tiger Assassin on the inside. Down in towards turn 1 on the inside. Costa's got no grip on those medium compound tyres. Piero now tries to follow him through on the outside, becomes the inside for the fast blowing right hander of turn 3, and look at that. Costa losing 2 positions at 2 corners, have got absolutely no grip on those tyres. They have fallen off they've not only fallen off the cliff, but they've gone through the sea, and they've narrowly approaching the core of the earth. And those round tyres probably aren't going to be round when he gets into the pits. I think he needs to pit this lap. Look at the time that he's losing, 2.5 seconds now behind Piero. Toussaint is gaining a lot now on those fresher compounded tyres. He's been able to save while sitting behind the likes of Piero and Tiger when they were all fighting for the lead. He's been biding his time, and now this is the chance that he needs to get a gap and pull away from the rest of the field. Tiger Assassin will probably be in the pits at the end of this lap as well. He's got no grip on the front left, and look at that. Costa, are there punctures? I don't think there are punctures in the game, but the car looked to have wobbled a little bit on the braking. The tyres still look round, but look at that. Are there punctures? I think that have the game added punctures when you get full tyre wear, because he's got no grip on the front left tyre. Hamilton's favourite L front left, and he's into the pits. Tiger and Piero into the pits as well. But was that a mistake in the strategy from Costa? Were they aiming for lap 12? Should he have brought it in 1 lap earlier to have secured him at least a fight for the top 3? But now he's going to be out with the likes of Bonnie Evil, maybe, who now takes 2nd place in the race, ending into the pits as well. Finn follows his teammate in, so it appears that lap 12 is the target lap from the medium tyres. That's interesting data for me, because I don't know what the strategy is. It could be a 2-stop, could be a 3-stop, could be a medium hard, could be a medium soft hard, could be a hard soft, could be a soft medium. Who knows? I know there's no punctures, as in like physical punctures, but it's just nice to think that there was a puncture, because this game doesn't have physical damage, terminal damage. So in my eyes, it's a puncture. He had no grip, it was understeering. It's a puncture. I know I'm saying this as if it's a controversial point, but it's better than saying, oh, he's got 100% tyre wear. That doesn't really mean anything. He had a puncture, and now he's going wheel to wheel with Tiger Assassin on the exit of the pit lane. How does that happen? Oh yes, it's the FGR strategy. Look at the fuel differences between the 2 cars, and that's how he's now fighting Tiger Assassin. He's got to get ahead of that Mercedes and push like crazy. He's going to find 8 seconds over 12 laps if he is to get himself back up ahead of, well, back up in the battle for the effective race lead, essentially. Legion and Cameron going side by side. Legion taking the rallycross of the stage almost through the middle sector. Might have been contact between those two, not for the first time this race. Now Cameron Kaboom inherits 4th place going through the final sector. Toussaint's into the pits as the hard runners stay out on their hard compounded tyres. Toussaint, he's putting in fuel. He's not following the FGR strategy. He's running his own strategy. I mean, Madman Jam says Ferrari strategy for FGR, but it worked in the Nürburgring. It secured them 2nd and 3rd place. Toussaint comes out of the pits in traffic behind Legion, and Cameron Kaboom might have already been compromised. And look who's all over the back of him, Piero. Piero following nearly the Madman Jam strategy, not the Madman Jam strategy, I'm getting confused, it's the FDR strategy. He's going for a move on the inside, down in towards turn 3, this will lead him up in towards turn 4, but he's not going to send one on the inside, he's just going to be patient by his time. Those medium tyres aren't firing up on the Mercedes as they have done on Piero's McLaren as they make their way towards the end of the first sector, down the hill, in towards turn 5. Piero, Finn, Costa putting in less fuel in the first stint, which means they've found more time in the pits, but they're going to have to spend longer in the pits for the end of this stint when they put in the fuel for the final 12-ish laps when they finish, or when they're done on the mediums. This is a very interesting race indeed. I have absolutely no idea who's going to win this race. I'm not going to say anything because they'll crash, but I certainly have someone in my mind. Bon Evil leading this race now by 12.5 seconds on the hard compound tyres. You could do a one stop from hard to hard, but then you would get a 1 minute penalty, so that wouldn't work, as it looks like the hards can make the 15 laps. Maybe I shouldn't have, you know what, let's just scrap the mandatory tyre rule for this race. Yeah, let's do that. Bon Evil, do a hard to hard. That would be an interesting race actually, a hard to hard against the medium hard, or medium soft. Anyway, Cameron Kaboom and Wolfie now battling for third place. Fresh mediums against worn hards. I know who I put my money on. And Cameron Kaboom gets his way ahead of Wolfie as Toussaint gets ahead of Legion. Down in towards turn 1. Pierre's going to try and follow him through on the inside of turn 3 with those fresh medium compounded tyres. Nothing against the worn mediums that are on the Porsche Legion though. He's not going to give this one up without a fight. Pierre defends the inside line. Can he turn defence into attack as he lines up and move on Toussaint in front of him? The McLaren really good in the start of the stints, but then starts to back off a little bit in comparison to the other cars that are around him. The Mercedes, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice car, if I say so myself. It looks good and it is good, and that's all a car needs to be. Just needs to look good and it's a good car. I love the Mercedes. I can't stress that enough how much I love Mercedes AMG. Moving on from my love for Mercedes AMGs, Tiger Assassin is still ahead of Costa, and Costa, we need to remember, he's only 8 tenths behind Tiger now, but expect him to be 8 seconds behind when he makes his pit stop. He's going to have to put in more. He's going to have to put in more fuel. He's only got half a tank, whereas Tiger's. That's not Tiger. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah. So Costa's only got half a tank, whereas Tiger's got 75% of a tank. So he is going to the end of this race, I believe. Bon Evil though into the pits from the hard compound tyres. Look how much more fuel he's got compared to Wolfie. Maybe he's been saving fuel, so we don't even know what the strat is. Here goes Costa now to the inside of Tiger, down and towards turn 1, late on their brakes, and gets the move done. Up into 5th place and gets the not the McLaren, the Mustang up into 5th, can now hunt down TCR Legion, who's on a completely different strategy to those around him. Cameron Kabooms and the net lead up the race, but still needs to make, I think, at least 2 more pit stops, unless he's going on 2 of the hards in the next couple of laps. I'm lost with the strategy, to be perfectly honest. I know the leaders, not the leaders, sorry, Tiger, Toussaint, Piero, I know they're on a medium, but then what do they do after that? If mediums do, let's hypothetically speak this out loud, if mediums can do 12-13 laps before they die, let's say 12, they're going to do another lap 12, that's going to take them to 24, but then they have to do 8 laps. You'd think a set of soft tyres, but what we saw in the first stint, they only went about 6 on Legion's car. Could be a medium soft, or it could be body's gone soft and he's sent one on the inside of Finn. I nearly said something I probably shouldn't have said, but Bon Evil has now got his way up into 7th place and ahead of Finn. Finn not having the best of races after being involved in some form of incident on the opening lap, but he's still running in 8th place and scoring points for the team. Meanwhile, we could have we've got 2 fights down going in towards turn 1. We ride on board with Piero as he's gaining down the start finish straight on to Hussein. Is he going to go for a move down the inside? This is for second place. He's not going to go for it on this occasion. Legion defending the inside line for Costa as they make their way towards turn 1. Contact between the two cars as Costa's forced wide and goes through the escape rope essentially at turn 2, but I'm not going to be surprised if the game gives him a 1.5 second time penalty or something for that. Surprisingly gets away with it, but to be fair, he was kind of forced wide enough the circuit. Congratulations again, I was convinced he was going to get a penalty. Tiger now on the inside of Legion, the Brit against the American. Side by side, wheel to wheel, the Mercedes and the Porsche. Are they going to go 3 wide into turn 5? Yes, they are nearly. Legion launches one on the inside, makes contact with Costa. Now that demotes him down to 6 places. Tiger does the old switcheroo and gets up into 5th place, capitalising on the contact made between the car ahead and the car behind him. But now Legion's defending hard, and maybe a little bit too hard for this 4th place. He's costing himself time. He's costing Tiger and Costa time. Yes, that's going to work for his strategy, but he needs to be careful he doesn't end up taking one of these guys out and giving himself a penalty after the race. Tiger now trying to send one down the inside in towards turn 10. They're going to go side by side temporarily, but it's the Porsche who still gets ahead of Tiger on those worn medium tyres, and I'm watching the gap to the leader keep on increasing. It's going up and up and up as Tiger's trying to go down the inside, and she's trying to invent moves that I'm not saying aren't possible, but you can see the frustration being stuck behind Legion, who runs wide at the final corner onto the gravel. The Mercedes pulls alongside the Porsche and the Mustang pulls alongside both of them. They're 3 wide down the start finish straight on lap 18 of 31. Which car's got the quickest in a straight line? It looks like the Mustang gets ahead of the Mercedes, almost pulls over in front of the Mercedes. Legion trying to hold it round the outside of Tiger, but couldn't on the worn medium tyres. He loses 2 positions in 1 corner, and Costa gains 2 from 4th to 6th, back up to 4th. Now is ahead of Tiger through the long swooping right-hander of turn 3. Pierre and Toussaint continue to battle in front for 2nd place, but Tiger now launches one to the inside of the Mustang, gets the Mercedes ahead and up into 4th place, but he's got a little bit wide on the exit. Costa does the good old switcheroo on the exit of the corner, now goes wheel to wheel down the hill in towards turn 5 by nearly a 180 degree right-hander. Costa goes wide, cuts inside to get a good run down the hill in towards 6, 7 and 8 to have a move, or a look for a move, in towards 10. We ride on board from the cockpit of the Ford Mustang. You can see the Fernando Alonso Alpine helmet on the head of Costa, running in 5th place. The battle for 4th place rages on. It doesn't look like it's going to be close enough to go for a move down in towards the hairpin of turn 10. And for anyone who says Spain is bad for overtaking and doesn't produce good racing, we are proving you wrong. Speaking of racing, you probably thought I didn't notice it, but I did. Look who's joined the party. Bonnie Evil now going down the inside. Trying to go down the inside. He's almost trying to kill me. These guys are trying to kill me. Hang on, he's going down the inside towards the final corner. Gets the move done. I promise you, I am okay. These guys are trying to kill me, and they're doing a good job of it. They are doing a very good job of it. Back to the racing action though. We've got a fight on our hands for 2nd place as Toussaint holds off Piero in the battle for 2 steps on the podium, both on a set of the medium compounded tyres, and are both in a good position to win this race. Meanwhile, Bonnie Evil on a completely alternate strategy to everyone else around him. He's purple through the middle first sector, and he's right on the back of Costa and Tiger. He started this race on the hards and sacrificed his first stint. He now launches one to the inside of Costa down towards turn 5, nearly makes contact with the back of Tiger and gets the move done up in towards 5th place. He is slicing through these cars like a hot knife through butter, and he's got another one to tick off the list right in front of him. There was a little bit of bumping in the last race in the Nürburgring as they had a duel for 4th place in the end, or 4th or 5th place, one of the two. But here goes Bonnie Evil down to the outside, the right hand side of the track. He's still purple as Tiger defends the inside line. Can Tiger slow it down in time, give Bonnie just enough space on the outside of the corner? You can't afford to make any mistakes because there will be a Costa who will be right behind you looking for a move. These 3 putting on an absolutely amazing show for us as Tiger leads this mini group through the final corner. to end lap 19, start lap number 20. Cameron kabooms into the pits off the mediums. Tuesday now inherits the lead of the race as he trails Piero. Sorry, no, he's ahead of Piero going towards turn 1, not close enough to make a move. Bon Evil with the slipstream and the straight line speed of the Genesis now gets up down the inside of the Mercedes and up into a podium position, and now needs to use the advantage of those red striped soft compounder tyres to pull away from the Mercedes. Don't let them fight back. For their strategies to work, they need to keep, well, they would have needed to keep Bon Evil as wide as, not as wide as possible, behind, as Tiger and Costa go wide. That's what I was trying to say, and they both pick up a 5/10 penalty for going over the white line, and that gives Bon Evil just a little bit of breathing space. He's now they've lost 1.5 seconds plus an extra 1 second for the 5/10 penalty that they'll serve down in the exit of turn 9. Bon Evil's in a good chance now of a decent finish. He's only 5 seconds off the leaders, and if Piero and Toussaint continue to keep overtaking each other, which they haven't really done in the recent laps, Piero's just not been close enough to the back of the Mercedes, but is keeping with him. But Bon Evil could be in with a shot of this race after sacrificing the first stint by starting on the hards. He's now whipped on a set of the soft tyres, and is he going to go softs or mediums for the end of the race? I'd put my guess on it being a set of the softs. If he can make those tyres last to about lap 24, then he could go for a hard soft, whereas these guys are going medium. I don't know, maybe a medium soft, because it looks like all their tyres, all Bon Evil's tyres are quite worn actually. I don't know what Bonnie's doing. Maybe he could go mediums for 10 laps. I think if Bon Evil goes mediums, he'll be in this or the next 2 laps. If he goes for softs at the end, he'll be in on lap 24, but his tyres are going to be quite worn by then. I don't even know what the medium runners are going to go on to. Maybe another set of a set of softs? Medium soft, or a hard soft? We're about to find out which one is the winning strategy. Being only 5 seconds behind his teammate Costa, both have to put in fuel though at the next pit stop, so unfortunately this battle for 4th place, which has been so good in the last few laps, is about to, well, it's like throwing water on a fire. It's unfortunately going to die when the pit stops arise. But new battles will form, another spark will be lit, just when and where. Here's one, the battle for 7th place, although I think this is just finished. I think Cameron Kaboom has just got ahead of Wolfie on a fresh set of the soft compound tyres. Wolfie will definitely be into the pits at the end of this lap for a set of, I'm going to go for medium compound tyres to finish this race off on. He has got no fuel in the car. His fuel light is on, so he's probably got less than a lap and a half at most. So we'll be into the pits to fuel up and change tyres. Costa though, he's not going to get this one up without a fight. Obviously for his strategy to work, he needs to effectively push as much as he can in this stint and hold everyone up behind, although he's got no one behind him for now, and no one really in front of him apart from Tiger Assassin. He would have been hoping for a train of cars, ideally, so he could pull away and watch them all fight around them. But being caught up in this battle means he's going to be losing a little bit of time, and he's going to lose more time when he pits for the fuel. What a great race this has been. I knew, this is why I put Spain on the calendar, because, you know, people look at Spain and they just go, nope, it's not that would be boring. This is why I am a genius. This race has been amazing. I'd even put it, I might rank this above the Nürburgring, to be perfectly honest. We've had overtakes left, right and centre. And I know there are going to be the drivers watching this going, what do you mean this is better than the Nürburgring? This has been really bad. And this is where you have the cliche, I guess, of a good race to watch and a good race to be in. For example, I'm trying to think of a good example. Singapore in F1, that was a decent race to watch. It was a bit of carnage. There were some overtakes. But if your name's Zhou Guan Yu, George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, then it was a bad race. It's like if Toussaint crashed, it would have been a bad race for him. I don't know, what do you mean this race was good? But for us spectators, we have been gifted with an amazing race. Born Evil's into the pits. I think he's going to go mediums too, to be perfectly honest. When did he pit? Lap 15, he's done 7 laps on the softs. If he extends by 2 laps, it will be tough. I think he might go mediums to finish this race. We'll have to wait and see. The Genesis is in the pits. Puts in a little bit of fuel despite you haven't got the fuel in the car. What you doing, man? There we go. I'm losing it, not gonna lie. Basically, if anyone was really confused about what I was saying there, normally there's a mechanic who puts the fuel in the car, like there's an animation for it, but that didn't happen. That's why he was sat stationary for a couple of seconds. For any new Gran Turismo viewers, and for those Gran Turismo viewers who want to get involved in the action, whether it's on track or in the commentary box, please send me a message. My name is there in the left hand side of the screen. It's not Wolfie907, it's the one beneath that. It's XNATTYG. Go send me a DM and we'll get you on the track or in the commentary box, or even a steward if that's what you want to do, and we'll get you in the Discord channel and everything. Gavra Racing, search up on Google, do what you got, or Bing, Yahoo, other search areas are available. Google is just my choice. I think everyone uses Google there. Oh yeah, and there's Safari. What else is there? I don't know. Internet Explorer, if that's still going. We've gone slightly off topic from racing onto search engines. That's right. Where are we? Well, did Boniva went medium? Yeah, he went medium. I thought he'd go medium. I think lap 24 would have been the lap where he would have had to pit for softs, which I think what these guys are gonna try and do. And we are on lap 24 now. Toussaint still leads this race only by 3.5 tenths of a second though. Tiger Assassin at 11 seconds behind his teammate. You start questioning yourself, where did you lose the time? The answer to that is the overtaking. Legion done a good job in holding them up. Might not have been, in quotations, the cleanest. Obviously when you look at it in live action, you say what you see essentially. If you see a little bit of contact, the next time you think of it, you're like, oh actually, that was bad. But afterwards, when you look at the race replay, it might have been really good defending, it might not have been. For anyone who has me as a friend on PlayStation or is following me on GT7, then I do repost the race replays after the race if you missed the live action, or if you're someone who I didn't catch you overtaking and you want to get it again, or if you want to watch anyone's race really, you can watch the race replay. Just make sure you follow me on GT7 or send me a friend request on PlayStation. Piero's into the pits. The undercut attempt from Piero has been activated. Toussaint is now in the hot seat and needs to react at the end of this lap. Piero, off the mediums, will probably be going on to a set of the soft compound tyres. He has pulled the trigger and initiated the undercut. Tiger Assassin follows his teammate and stays out with him. For anyone who wants my PlayStation name, my PSN, there it is underneath Wolfie's name, XNATTYG, XNATTG, that is me on PlayStation. Send me a message, send me a friend request, send me a friend request, a message, follow me on GT7, whatever you got to do, and then you can see the race replay after the race. I've actually just thought, do we get any interviews in after the race? Because it's something I'm starting once again. We had it in GT Sport Season 1, Season 2.5, then PlayStation changed the party system, it got a bit weird, confusing, I kind of stopped doing it. And I thought to bring it back, but before and after the race. We didn't get one today, but we might get one for the start of the next race. Oh my, how is there only 6 laps left? This race has gone like the wind. Someone who will be going like the wind, Piero. Now, undercuts tend to be very, very powerful in this game. There are 2 sides of an undercut in this game that are different to F1. You pit for fresh tyres, which will make you quicker, but you have to spend a little bit longer in the pits as you put in 1 lap extra fuel. The other half though, the overcut, which is what Toussaint's effectively done, is you do a slower lap on worn mediums, but you put in a lap less fuel. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We're going to get excited. I'm even going to stand up. I've been sat back, but now we're going to stand up and watch it all unfold, baby. Here goes Pierre around the final corner. He finishes lap 25. He starts lap 26. Pierre's going down the start-finish straight at a rapid rate of knots. Toussaint's leaving the pit lane now. He's confined to the white line on the right-hand side of the circuit. Where is Piero? Where is Piero? There he is, and he's come out about 1.5 seconds behind Toussaint. So the undercut hasn't quite worked for him. The overcut for Toussaint, he's just done enough on his in-lap. Must have been a rapid in-lap to get him out ahead of Piero. But now he's on those fresh softs. We know how quick that McLaren fires up its tyres. I'd expect to see that gap go down for the first few laps, but his tyres are going to go off by an extra lap towards the end of the race. We'll keep up with his progress. Bon Evil in 3rd place has got himself into a podium position, but as Tiger Assassin 2.5 seconds behind him on a fresh set of soft compound tyres with only 6 laps to go, sorry. There was a showdown between these two in the Nürburgring. There could be another showdown between these two here at the circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona, located in Spain with no chicane. Here goes Costa now to the inside of Legion through the middle sector into turn 6 they go. Costa gets his way up into 5th place. Legion just has to back out and concede 6th place for now. Looks like he'll be going to the end of the race on those medium compound tyres. Look at this spin as well. He's not too far behind his teammate, only about 3-4 seconds behind Costa. As they make their way through turn 9, Tiger Assassin scaling hand over fist on Bon Evil. The gap was 2.4, now 1.8. As a nice nearly helicopter cam shots of the cars making their way through the hairpin at turn 10, where the rallycross circuit intersects the part of the circuit. Look how congested the final sector is. We're going to get a nice showdown here in Spain, the Spanish showdown. And it has just commenced on lap 26. You could even say it commenced 26 laps ago, as Piero is now within the slipstream range of Toussaint. 0.6 of a second separating the top two. Tiger Assassin closing down Bon Evil for a podium position in this race, running in 4th place after starting, I don't know, to be honest, somewhere. Bon Evil though did start on pole position, and it looks like it's another Charles Leclerc conversion rate for the Brit at the end of 2 races, but there's still plenty of time for the front two to get involved in the little incident out in front, fighting for the lead of the race. Can Toussaint make it 2 from 2, or will Piero get his first GT7 win? I mean, GT7 win I'm confident in saying, because this is only round 2 season 1, so anyone who wins will get their first win. I'm not too sure if he won in GT Sport. He got a few podiums when he stood on the top step. I'm not too sure. Tiger nearly within the second window of Bon Evil. Is Piero going to be able to send one down the inside and towards turn 10? It looks like he was later on the brakes. Nearly goes into the back of the Mercedes. But strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. Grab some popcorn, something to eat, because you guys have waited this long to see some action. You haven't even had to wait, to be perfectly honest. You've had this from lap 1, turn 1, minute 1. Bon Evil is under a lot of pressure from Tiger Assassin and a fresh set of the soft compound tyres. Bonnie on a worn set of mediums, and I think Tiger will be the favourite to get this move done and dusted. But we have a look at the battle for the lead. You can see the heat waves off the back of the rear wing. Tiger Toussaint goes defensive to the inside, but this is Piero's chance to go round the outside and towards turn 1. Toussaint has it covered though, late on the brakes in towards turn 1, but has gone a little bit deeper than the McLaren. We ride on board with the McLaren, going through the long swooping right-hander before I'm going to quickly cut back to the battle for 3rd place. Bon Evil is able to keep Tiger Assassin behind at the start of lap 28, going in towards turn 1. What about the battle for the lead of the race? Piero now 4 tenths, 3 tenths, 2 tenths behind Toussaint. Now grip through the right-hander of turn 4, seems to be a corner he's comfortable with. He looks to launch one on the inside. That could have been quite a big incident had he have pulled the trigger or put his foot down a little bit later on the brake. Meanwhile, Bon Evil defending the inside from Tiger Assassin down in towards turn 5, defending this like a lion, as some would say. He wants this podium. He tried something adventurous, and to be fair, It's worked from where he was, but from where he started, not quite. Piero launches one to the inside at turn 10 on lap 28. Toussaint doesn't see him coming, almost turns into the McLaren. Backs out at the last second, but Piero now takes the lead of the race here on lap 28. Tyre Bonnie will now under pressure from Tiger Assassin, who goes defensive to the inside down at turn 12. Can the Mercedes swoop his way around the outside of the Genesis? Not on this occasion, and I think we've got some overtakes happening for 6th place as well. Being up into 6th place ahead of Cameron, Kaboom and Legion, battling away for 6th place. We got action all over the circuit. Bonnie on those worn medium tyres, holding back Tiger for now. Here goes the Mercedes though, in the slipstream of the McLaren. Two beautiful looking cars, both in their design, both in the livery, both drivers fighting as hard as they can, clean and respectively. Piero defensive in towards turn 1, keeps Toussaint at bay, as Tiger, his teammate, now fighting for the podium position. Bonnie might just have to concede. Here goes defensive till the inside, tucks back into the racing line. Indeed he does, and concedes 3rd place down into 4th, but a hard fought 4th. It would have been a nice battle with Tiger at the end of the race after starting on the hards and trying something different, really going for it with the strategy. Piero though, parking the bus, trying to keep Toussaint behind. He wants this win. I've got a feeling we're going to see some Fernando Alonso level of defence and some Lewis Hamilton style of attack. Tiger's not quite yet cleared Bonnie, but he needs to keep it clean, keep it consistent, keep it on the road, otherwise he might have a Genesis on his inside. Finn also under pressure a little bit from Cameron Kaboom, as Piero still leads going through turn 10. He's kept the Mercedes behind for now. Bonnie just dropping off the back of Tiger Assassin through the tricky technical middle sector, the one that's really causing the most grip. The one that most requires the most grip. What about Cameron Kaboom? Can he try something on Finn, who goes defensive down in towards turn 10, late on the brakes, swoops around the outside of the what's it called? It's a Mustang, that's it. But the Mustang, Finn keeps ahead for now. That might have been Costa running wide on the exit of the penultimate corner. Here goes Piero, defensive to the inside, going in towards turn 1. Can Toussaint try and invent something around the outside? Goes wide, cuts inside to try and get a good run. The old switcheroo with the alternate line to the one that Piero has taken in front of him on the penultimate lap of the race, nearly pushing Piero through the long swooping right-hander of turn 3, where Hamilton and Rosberg had their accident. He's now got the inside line for turn 4. The Mercedes down the inside of the McLaren. Can he slow it down in time? Piero sees an open door on the inside and says, thank you very much, I'll walk through that nicely. Keeps over to the left. They go through the downhill left-hander of turn number 5, defensive to the inside. Toussaint can't get past that McLaren. Piero parking his car in all the right places and has had to earn this win if he can keep it. That is a big if, with an exclamation mark at the end of it. Finn continues the battle of Cameron Kaboom as they make their way through turn 5. Can Cameron go round the outside? This is going to be close as Finn leaving the room. No room on the outside. The Porsche wasn't really there, to be honest, so Finn didn't actually need to leave the room. Cameron backing out in the end. What about Toussaint now on the inside of Piero through turn 10 in towards 11, in towards the final sector. Toussaint, can he go round the outside of Piero? What a beautiful move from your race winner in the Nürburgring. If he can pull this off, they still continue to go side by side, door to door through the final corner. Piero backs off through the final corner as they start the final lap of this race. Toussaint really hugging the pit wall, waving to his mechanics and his engineers, but he's not won this yet. Piero's fighting hard for it. Toussaint very defensive to the inside, pulls back over to the middle of the circuit. Piero now with the outside line, tries to swoop around the outside. Toussaint's late on the brakes. Has he gone a little bit too late on the brakes as they make their way through the first sector for the final time? Riding in the cockpit of Piero's McLaren, you can see how much time he's gaining through turn 3. The tyres are starting to die on the Mercedes, I feel. Is he going to send one? Is he going to send one? He nearly sends one. Nearly makes contact with the Mercedes. The top two separated by 2/10. They've been racing on it for the past 5 laps. And here we go to the outside. Darts to the inside at turn 5. Piero wiggling all over the circuit. He can't find the line. He can't find the path through. Is this his opportunity to get ahead of the Mercedes? Both running very low on fuel. Has Toussaint got enough? Has Piero got enough? Has Toussaint done enough? Only time will tell, but you don't have to wait for much longer. There's only 5 corners left to go. Toussaint though defending the inside down towards turn 10 in towards the middle of the circuit. Where's Piero? Can he find a move on the outside? Is he going to try the switchback move? Goes wide, gets a good run up the hill in towards 11 and 12. But can Toussaint hold him off and claim 2 wins from 2 after round 2? He could do it, you know. There's only 2 corners left to go. 1 corner after this. But what a race. We've had battles from start to finish. And a showdown in Spain leads Toussaint, your winner of the Spanish Grand Prix, separated by no more than 0.2 of a second. Piero settles for a hard-fought second place, but it could have been a little bit more. But wow, what racing we had there. Absolutely amazing. Born Evil now able to hold off Costa for 4th place by 0.2 of a second. Finn getting ahead of Cameron Kaboom, finishing ahead of him by 0.3 of a second, and hands down this has been the best race of the season so far. TCR Legion finishes in 8th place, ND will finish in 9th, and Mulvey will finish in 10th. But my oh my, what a race. We had a fight for 1st, a fight for 3rd, a fight for 4th, 6th. We had battles all over the circuit. Your winner from the Nürburgring makes it 2 from 2. And unlike season 1, he was not looking at the back of anyone's car today. He had no one in front of him when he crossed the line on the final lap of the race. Donuts and burnouts from Morpheus. He finishes this race in 10th place and claims a couple of points for him and Ted. But wow, I went into this race with a sore throat. I'm now going to have to leave this race in the back of an ambulance. And on a stream where we got quite a lot of views actually. I'm glad you guys had the opportunity to watch this. This has been absolutely amazing. You know after that race where it's just been amazing. This is Spain. This is the action we get at Spain, and I cannot wait for tracks like Spa, Watkins Glen, Daytona. I'm struggling to name my calendar, the one I made myself. But this season, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a good season. And that is a helmet, and that's a suit, and that's a name that you should get used to seeing at the end of the race. Absolutely amazing. I am saving that replay. I'm even going to share it right now. I can't type and talk, so this is going to be... Oh, there we go. See, this is what I like about PlayStation features, that I can do things like that. We should put no chicane. Boom. It's open to everyone if you want to watch it. Tags, I'll put Gavra. That's it. So that race is being shared. Guys, come on. I think that deserves a follow or a subscription. Don't you think? I mean, I'm not asking for much. You gotta do what you gotta do. When the drivers provide action like that, then they should be rewarded. Let's have a look at the stream. Bear with us for just 2 seconds, because I'm gonna have a look to see if we could get maybe an interview with someone. I don't know who. I haven't even got any questions ready. This is why I need a co-commentator, because this is taking too long. I can't even see what's being said in the chat. I shouldn't have done this. I apologise for blocking the screen now. Should we get the race leader in again? I mean, we didn't get him in we did get him in last week, but I didn't actually have the record audio for that. So we'll get a little bit of an interview with the race leader and championship leader as he extends his lead in the championship. That's how it works. I'm awful. I can't do 2 things at once. I'm trying to do things and speak. I need to get questions before he joins. So yeah, just bear with me. He will probably say hello in about 5 seconds and catch me off the spot. but I am really bad with interviews. I need to think for about 10 minutes before. But we'll hear from your race leader in just 2 seconds.
Hello.
Those 2 seconds have gone quite quickly. Hello.
Once again, I'm getting used to this one now.
Well, amazing performance from both yourself and Piero. Just let's start at the end. Talk us through those final 6-7 laps.
It was intense. Piero, I think, was a bit quicker on the soft tyre with the McLaren, but I could see that he was struggling a bit in the middle sector, especially to get it slowed down. He said that when he went down the inside, he even surprised himself on the brakes. So I was also equally surprised when he appeared on my inside. But then he made a bit of a mistake, which allowed me to get the run out of the corner, and then just through the legs left and the right, I could able to hold them to the inside and get the line, which I was surprised by as well. I didn't expect the Mercs to have that much grip, but I guess the softs helped out there.
And once again, you've nailed the strategy. It's 2 races from 2, 2 wins from 2. Going back to the start of the race, I don't know if you knew this or not, but when you were fighting with, I think there was 5 or 6 of you in the opening few laps, was there the idea of, I'm going to go for this, or I'm just going to sit back and wait a little bit? Because you had the best tyres out of the top 6, so was there that kind of strategic...
We had that discussion before the race. I was very much just trying to take care of the tyres because it's such a high tyre deck circuit. So I was just saying to myself, we can just sit here for a few laps, we can bide our time, and then I think you saw towards the end of the stint I started making moves. I did the swap with Tiger, and then got after Costa and got him as well. And then it was just about building the gap to the cars behind really after that.
And well, I don't know if I can say it enough, but another amazing performance from yourself. Enjoy this one. If I see you here next week, then I'm going to have to start calling you Play Dutchy or something.
Well, he's coming back next week, isn't he?
I have absolutely no idea.
And hopefully I'll still be here next week when he is there. Alright, thank you Natalie for organising.
No worries, see you.
Bye-bye.
There you have it, a little bit of an exclusive interview with the race leader this time. I did do one in the Nürburgring, but when I disconnected, my mic disconnected, so I didn't reconnect my mic. I did redo the audio though, so if you want to go watch that, you'll have to see it on my channel, unfortunately. Link is in the GT7 chat on Discord, not to my channel, but to the video, which is on my channel anyway. There it is. There is a car that has won 2 races from 2 and maintains the championship lead. They may as well have taken the lead in the team's championship as well. Stay tuned for the same time, same place next week for round 3 at Lago Maggiore. And if you don't know why that could be a special one, well, previous races, we've had a drag race to the line in all 3 of them. So this could, next week, if you thought this was good, next week could be even better. Stay tuned to watch the drama unfold once again. I've been X90G, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.